Okay, man. Welcome back to the SkyBox podcast, man. Where we talk all things hoops, but definitely keying in on those LA Lakers, man, and my favorite home team, man, the Arkansas Razorbacks, man. We'll highlight them from time to time as well, as their season get ready to ramp up, man. But this show is central focused on the Los Angeles Lakers and updating you on post game and even some pregame stuff, and man, just sometimes some hot takes around the team and all things Lakers and all things hoops. And so what I want to do is kind of give some of my hot takes from the game tonight, man, versus the Phoenix Suns, man. The second one in the last week or so that we played them, weren't able to get the win tonight, and I kind of want to highlight some of the reasons I feel why, man. As I was looking at some of the other, Laker fanatics and Laker fans on Twitter and watching the game and, and chatting with some of them as I was tweeting in the game, which I'm going to start doing more and more. So be sure to follow me on all social media platforms, man. SkyBox Podcast. Follow me on my personal Twitter at Will Z Titwell, and I'll make sure all these links are linked for you. But where do we start? Where do we start when it comes to the struggles for the Lakers tonight? I'm not too worried though, right? And I'll get into why I'm not too worried and break that down. But we can start from so many different angles as to why we lost this game or why we weren't able to pull this win out and be 4-0 and instead fall to 3-1, which is still not bad, right? I'm not mad or upset per se or hurt, or even, discouraged or worried at all. I think we're going to be just fine. But LeBron just had a rough night. Let's just start there. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. LeBron looked 40 tonight. LeBron, uh, LeBron looked like his damn hip was hurting. You feel me? He had no lift on his jump shot. He wasn't very strong and physical and getting downhill like he's accustomed to. He wasn't being very explosive and cutting in on the fast break, getting to the basket and going for dunks. He wasn't just being, like he wasn't getting to the rack and drawing defenders and dumping it off with the dime passes that he makes across court, or he just wasn't doing LeBron-esque things tonight. He just looked tired. He looked like he just played a back to back, and then flew to Phoenix. Like that's what he looked like for real, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Because at least he's already made it up in his mind to know like AD is the person for this team, right? This is AD's team. I'm just supposed to fill in the gaps when they need me, right? Facilitate when they need me, be the ball handler when they need me, score when they need me. And tonight we needed him in some moments, and I think if he would even had just a decent 20-point game with the same assist and things, we would have been okay and probably won that game in decent fashion. But he just couldn't get it together, so you can't be mad at him, no. But it wasn't just Bruin's fault, because another thing I noticed is AD had another monster game, 29 points, 12 for 24, 12, 13 rebounds. Like he was busting it. He was hooping. But I think the problem came down to those non-AD minutes were problematic tonight. And when he wasn't on the floor, Jackson Hayes just wasn't getting it done. We are never expecting Jackson Hayes to be AD, right, or anything even close to that. But he usually has, in those first three games, he held his own, right? He rebounded the ball well. He was an energy guy. He disrupted plays, right? He held his own. And tonight he was just kind of out there. He was just, non-existent. I don't even think he scored a bucket. And again, that kind of goes back to the non-AD minutes being very problematic. I mean, for our bench only scored 8 points tonight. 8 points. We had 105. That means our starters had to score 97 points. And that's I'm not gonna say that's a lot to ask of our starters, but that's a lot to put on them and not to have any real support from the bench. And to be honest with you, the Suns didn't have much support from their bench either. But 8 points is rough. 8 points is rough. And so that was hard to overcome. I think if anything, that second unit for the Lakers doesn't have anybody that they can just go to and say, hey, go get us a bucket. Feel me? They don't have anybody on that second unit that they trust enough to say, yeah, handle that. Like, go get us a bucket. And that's why I feel like JJ has to stagger that lineup. And if you notice, he tries to keep in one of the starters majority of the time with the second lineup, almost as he's forced to, right? And then when he doesn't have any of them out there, they struggle. They struggled bad. And that's when the Suns got back in the game and took the lead, hell, I believe, or made it relatively close. It's like a 2 point game. Went from like 14. We was up 14, and then all of a sudden we only up two, and he had to call a timeout. So yeah, that was rough. We need somebody in that second unit, man, that can anchor some defense, but can also go get a bucket and keep people calm in those waves when the Suns were coming like they were coming. Yeah, it was ugly to watch. It was hard to watch because we should have kicked their ass, and we were kicking their ass. And Max Christie struggling. I fuck with Max, and I think he's a great kid, and I think he got some hell of a potential, but he struggled tonight. And if we want to be honest, Ryan Dunn outshined him in a lot of ways. I'm not sure what Ryan Dunn's stat line was. I really didn't pay attention, if we being honest, but just from the eye test and watching the game and watching the hustle plays, watching the defensive plays, watching the disruptions, watching the aggressiveness, like taking on a challenge of guarding Austin Reeves like he was doing. Even though Austin Reeves had a great game, just being disruptive. Like Ryan Dunn was everywhere. He was knocking down shots. I don't know what the fuck they was talking about saying Ryan Dunn don't have a jump shot. He was busting out. You know what? He was making his shots. He was being disruptive on defense. And Max Christie, had some moments. He had a couple big threes. He was getting to the rack, but it was like he was overthinking it. It was like instead of him just going up for the layup or making the right pass or making the right play, it's like he was forcing the issue a little bit, and he got turned away a couple of times, had a couple of turnovers. It was hard to watch. He really was just kind of out there. And yeah. And so I think that definitely shot us in the foot too, and kind of added to the reason why, our bench was not very good because you're relying on Max, you're relying on Gabe Vincent, you're relying on Dalton Connect, and for them three they combined for 8 points and shit. Shit, you feel like Dalton had nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you're relying on these guys to show up, and they didn't do much. And it was just hard to watch. It was hard to watch, and JJ alluded to this himself, and I think this is a great positive takeaway when it comes to this loss is that JJ was the first person to say that's on me. If we're gonna nitpick and talk about whose fault it was my fault. We shouldn't have had a 14-point quarter. I should have been red zoning KD much sooner. I should have been blitzing him much sooner, but I didn't. I should have doubled him a couple plays earlier than when I didn't, letting him get off. Like he was able to admit that he should have made some adjustments a little bit sooner. And by the time he did it or, thought about it or whatever the case may be, it was a little too late. And then we had a 14-point quarter that really shot us in the foot as well. Not able to generate enough offense. And he said he feels like that because of us not having, not running good enough offense. Like our sets weren't good enough and we weren't getting enough stuff to be able to get easy buckets, and we were making the game harder. And the game, but it wasn't all JJ Redick's fault either though, because the game was very like choppy. You know what I'm saying? Like the game was real choppy in the sense of like the refs, the way they were calling the game. And, neither team was really hitting shots for stretches of the game. It was kind of like a lot of turnovers. It was kind of sloppy, too. It was an instance where I was like, what the hell is going on? And I got kind of bored watching it because it was just kind of up and down. Like, it was just getting cardio in. You know what I'm saying? So that's not all on JJ, but I feel like he's also right, though. Our offense got a little stale at moments, and we needed more movement. We needed more, I wanted to see more of those backdoor cuts that we usually do. I wanted to see more of that, that transition fast break stuff that we do. But we couldn't really get that because if you want to look at it, Suns won the turnover battle and they also won the rebound battle. They didn't really win the rebound battle tonight, but they tied it. It was 46 rebounds apiece. So those cross each other out. And then they had one less turnover than us. And that's really, from what I'm seeing earlier, this Lakers team is going to thrive on is being able to turn teams over, getting out in transition and running. And we weren't able to do that. And so because of that, it was a half court game in a lot of instances, and we were hanging with them. And that's why I said I'm not really worried about this loss because the officiating was terrible. The game was very choppy and slow. LeBron had a terrible game up to his standard. Max didn't really. Our bench was non-existent, and we still only lost by 4 points. And 2 of those came from free throws at the end of the game. So really 2 points. Like I'm feeling pretty good because last year a game like that we would have got blew the fuck out. You feel what I'm saying? And so I feel better, even though we lost. Right? Like that loss gave me confidence that if LeBron would have just had a decent game, we would have been all right. We would have probably won for sure. because you know, we were right there with them. But then when you had KD and Book combining for 63 and LeBron and AD only combined for 38, but Austin had like 20, 23 or 26 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. Austin had a great game. But again, if you got your two best stars only combining for 38 points or for 39 points, you know what I mean? That's kind of hard to come back from. It's a 24-point swing, and we only lost about 4. So I'm feeling pretty good about it, if we being honest about it. But those were some of the quick hits. Let me re-highlight those. LeBron had a rough night. AD's non AD minutes were very problematic. Our bench was non-existent because of, and that's what I mean by those non AD minutes were problematic. 8 points, can't get it done. Ryan Dunn outshined Max Christie in a lot of ways when it comes to kind of just them being young players. You know, Max been in the league a little bit longer. You expected to see him doing some of those defensive things, making a few more shots, or just making the right reads. And tonight was kind of rough for him, but I'm not down on him at all. Hayes was really non-existent, just kind of up and down, bringing the ball down and shit when he should have kept it high off the LeBron pass, like just shit, like just little stuff, man, just being non-existent. That 14-point quarter really hurt us. How choppy the game was, we could never really get in a flow and run and get out and transition the way we do, where LeBron could even have a chance to cut and dunk and do those backdoor things. We didn't really have a chance to do that much. But I don't think LeBron had it in his legs to do it anyway, if we being honest, because he kind of spearheads a lot of that downhill stuff for the Lakers. So yeah, that's what I think. And then we got to go back to, even though Connect has 0 points and he was pretty much non-existent as well and took a horrible shot at some point in the game when he hit the fucking side of the backboard, I think he needs more minutes. I think you need to find a way to get Connect more involved in the game where he can like make an impact. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm noticing that he's not playing the third quarter at all. Then he comes in the fourth. And I think he needs to get 3 or 4 or 5 minutes in that third quarter somehow. He needs to go from 15, 17 minutes a game to about 21, 23, 24, for 25 minutes a game if you can do it, right? Because he needs to get his shots up. He needs touches. He needs to be a threat. And I need to see him be able to play off of like a LeBron, or play off of like a D'Lo, play off with with a Austin Reeves. Like I would love to see him in that type of actions with those guys, because I think he'll be able to be more of a threat. That's just my opinion. And JJ's been doing great, but I would love to see him be able to play a few more minutes. And that's just me. And he needs more touches, right? And call more plays for him like he's been doing. I love how JJ was held himself accountable, and he said he's got to be better. He does. But those are the main takeaways that I had as to why I felt like we just couldn't pull out the win. I would love to keep hearing for you guys when it comes to the Lakers, man, and how they're progressing over the season, and get your feedback. So, man, be sure to like and subscribe and comment on these videos, man. Give your feedback, and you never know, I might take some of your comments and I might put them on my next video and react to them and have dialogue with you about it, man. I would love to do that. So I want to kind of do a few other things before I get out of here and talk about some other things around the league, and also for the Lakers too. So real quick, I want to do a 5-game prediction of what our record is going to be over our next 5 games. Next 4 games, because we just played the Suns tonight, and obviously we're 0-1. So our next 4 games, we have the Cavs, the Raptors, the Pistons, and the Grizzlies. So over the next 4 games at 3-1 currently, I think we can win. Cavs are good, man. They're looking good. They're 4-0 as well. They're fully healthy. They got Jared Allen back. Evan Mobley is doing pretty well. They're not fully healthy. I think Matt Strus is still messed up, but for the most part, they look good. Darius Garland is hooping. I think that's a winnable game for us. But just to be realistic, I'll say we go 3-1 over the next 4 games. We'll go 3-1, and that'll put us at 6-2. And I think that's very realistic, and that'd be a great record for us over 8 games. That's a great record. We can definitely beat the Raptors. We can definitely beat the Pistons, and we can definitely beat the Grizzlies. Now, Ja's going to be a problem, but we can definitely beat them. So 3-1 over the next 4 games. Cavs, Raptors, Pistons, Grizzlies. Just lost to the Suns. So we go 3-2 over these next 5. I think we can do that. I think that's more than possible for us as a team. So I want to hear from you guys, man. Be sure to like and comment on that video and let me know your thoughts on that, okay? And then I also wanted to do this fun one. Trade rumor that the Lakers are trying to get Walker Kessler for 2 first-round picks would you do it? From Legion Hoops asked this question. It's hypothetical. For 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler, who says no? I don't know if I'll give up two first-round picks for him, but I'll definitely consider giving up one and maybe like an asset, right? Like you can have, because he's in Utah. Who they got? They got like Colin Sexton at the point right now. I'll say I'll give you. I don't know. I wouldn't really want to give a Rui. I'll say, hey, you can have like Cam. We can have like Cam and one of our first round picks. You know what I'm saying? Cam Reddish, a first round pick, and like Gabe Vincent or something like that. I'll do something like that before I give up both of our first round picks, because I would love to use that other first round pick to go get a person like a Jeremy Grant, or somebody like a Cam out of Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Or I even want Kyle Kuzma back. I think that'd be a great pickup. Something like that. I would rather split up those first round picks than go all in on giving it to Walker Kessler. And that's just me. So again, what's your thoughts on that? And next, let me see. This is the real question. If we talking about this team having championship aspirations, the Lakers, from what I'm seeing in Boston, them motherfuckers might not lose a game. Like they might be up there with that 73-9 Warriors team type shit. I don't know if they're gonna do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won 70 plus games. No bullshit. I would not be surprised if the Celtics won 70 plus games, because the way they spread you out, how can you defend it? Because let me explain something to people real quick that don't understand the game of basketball. What makes the Celtics so great and how they've been able to give over 100 threes through 4 games, plus 100 plus threes. They're relying at the point of attack on JT and Jaylen Brown and even Derek White, hell, Drew too. Really, if you want to be real, on breaking down a man, collapsing the defense, getting into the paint, making those guys suck them in, and they kicking and spraying. And you even got Al Horford going to the 3-point line ready to shoot, and he knocking them bitches down. How do you defend that? It's impossible. It's impossible. The only way you can beat them is if they just not hitting them. And sometimes we have known the Celtics to live and die by the 3, right? That's how they lost a couple years ago to the Heat. They just kind of live and die by it. If they not hitting it, then they broke. But if they hitting that motherfucker like they was doing against New York and opening night, I don't know how you defend it, because they gonna break their man down. They gonna get by their initial defender. One of them will do that, right? Or their ball movement is so elite, and the way they run their sets is so elite, and their movement off the ball is so elite. They're gonna get open. It's just a matter of them knocking down the shots. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that, how do the Lakers add up to that when it comes to having championship aspirations? Us fully healthy, getting Vando back, getting Christian Wood. If Pelinka was to make no moves, do we add up to that team? Can we beat that team in 7 games? I'm going to be real, and I'm going to say I think we can give them a hell of a fight. But I don't know if we can beat them 7 games, because I don't know if we can hang with them shooting-wise. That's what I worry about. I worry about how big they are on the wings, and they'll put somebody like a Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum on like a D'Lo and give him fits. And if D'Lo not helping us hit shots, and then Gabe not really hitting shots, and then, Dalton Knecht is a rookie and he has rookie moments, a lot of them, can we beat them in 7 games? You feel me? If LeBron looking like he 40, AD gonna get his. I'm confident in that. Ain't nobody, Al Horford can't do shit with him. Porzingis can't do shit with him. So, but then you step an AD out from the 3. To the 3 to defend a guy like Porzingis if he comes back healthy. Now the lane is wide open. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like with that team we have now, I don't know if we can really match up the way we would like to. I think we could give them problems. We might win 1 or 2 games potentially, just because of coaching and the new system we have. I don't know if we can beat them 7 games. That's tough. But if Pelinka go get the right pickups, go get us a Jeremy Grant, go get us a Kyle Kuzma, go get us a guy that can lock down and defend in the paint and give AD some rest when he needs it, and can score 10, 12 points and grab 10, 12 rebounds and alter some shots and block a couple shots. We cooking with gas now. And even if he can be a stretch 5, we really cooking. But, how many of those guys are really around the league? So that's the question, man. How do we add up to Boston right now? That's a real thing. I'm just worried about it. Now, completely off the Lakers real quick. I had a chance to really look at the Bucks today when they played the Celtics, and I'm starting to understand like what some of their biggest struggles and problems are. And the first thing I noticed is that they play hella slow. They play hella slow, hella stagnant. Even though Dame had a better game today, outside of Dame and Giannis being Giannis, nobody else really did shit. Torian Prince, 3 points. Bobby Portis, Bobby being Bobby. Bobby had gonna get his, but he only can do so much, right? Then you got Pat Connaughton. He a cone. Who he guarding? And then they had no defense. Somebody made a great point within the game is that when they won that championship, they had a hell of a defensive team. They had Drew Holiday on the wing. You had Chris Middleton healthy on the great two-way player. Giannis being Giannis. Brook Lopez is one of the greatest, big man defenders there is. And then you had PJ Tucker. That's a hell of a defensive lineup with some two-way players in it. Now you got you asking Pat Connaughton to guard. You asking Torian Prince to guard and score. You asking Giannis to do what he do. You asking Dame to have to defend at a high level, and he's not a great defender. And so it's like, where's the, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I feel like is part of their problem. And I'm gonna just say this too. Somebody gonna hate me for this, but is Giannis part of the problem too? Is Giannis part of the problem too? Because when I look at Giannis, I watched a series in that game with the Celtics where he had like 4 turnovers in a row. He traveled twice. He turned the ball over, and then he just took a terrible shot because they doubling him. They making him make a decision, and he traveling and walking with that motherfucker. Because if he not able to get downhill with a head full of steam and long step the shit out you and finish at the rim, then what can Giannis really do? He not gonna pull up and make a jump shot. You foul him, that's really not you really straight because he gonna miss one of them at the free throw line. So is Giannis part of the problem too? Because I feel like he's part of the reason that their offense is so slow because he's still playing with a back to the basket type of game. So again, is Giannis part of the problem too? Because if he's not getting downhill, full head of steam, finishing at the rim, maybe that little 15-footer, you know what I'm saying? Then what is he? Because he's part of the reason I feel like the game is so stagnant because now it's a run and gun type of game. Now it's quick, it's fast. Like it's not a lot of set plays anymore. It's actions, it's movement, it's player movement. And Giannis is back. I watched it. Like even when in those turnovers, you giving Boston time to come double you and triple you because you got your back to the basket, catching it, trying to go with your move, and you giving them time. And now you traveling, you walking, you can't throw it out the double team. You making turnovers. Even if you got 30, it's an ugly 30. Even if you efficient, it's still like you slowing the game down. And Boston is so fast that even off your turnovers and your misses, they getting out running. Peyton Pritchard busting your ass. Jaylen Brown busting your ass. Jason Tatum didn't even have to do nothing tonight because of that. And so I think it's the roster construction. They have no bench. The bench is non-existent for the Bucks. Their defense is terrible. No real point of attack on type of defenders. And then I feel like Giannis is slowing the game down. And you want me to be real? I think the Bucks made a mistake firing Adrian Griffin. I think the Bucks made a mistake firing Adrian Griffin. I think he was new, he was fresh, he was innovative, and you brought Doc old ass in. He need to go retire, and he don't know what he's doing with this team. He don't know how to play new. Doc keep doing that old shit that don't work no more. JJ Redick, I feel like is thriving and going to be a great coach because JJ Redick is innovative. He's new. He's staying with the times. He understands the way the game is being played now. He's able to adapt and he's able to bring in new and fresh ideas for the new NBA, doing what Boston is doing. Why do you think he said he want to get more threes up and he want to crash from the corners and he want to get more offensive rebounds because you can get more threes from it? Like he understands what Joe Mazzulla and that staff and other like teams like that are doing. And that's what is making JJ so successful. I don't think Doc is anywhere near that. I'm just being real. I think they made a mistake. That's just me. Last 2 things. We got to give this number 1 pick. I've never seen a number 1 pick be talked about as little as Paolo Banchero. That man is so disrespected that it's crazy. Like, he had a 50-piece tonight on Indiana. Bust Tyrese Halliburton and Siakam and Mathurin and anybody else on that team. He Nimhard bust their ass. Neesmith bust their ass. 50-piece, bro. Third year, busting their ass. And I feel like nobody's gonna talk about it on ESPN. Nobody gonna talk about it on First Take. Nobody gonna talk about it for real. You know, it might get mentioned, you know, a little highlight or something, but I don't think he's getting any of the recognition that he really deserves as a number one pick for sure. Because and somebody else said it, and I kind of saw it, but I never thought too much about it. He got a LeBron-esque type of like game, like big body, strong, got a handle, jump shot not super cold, but can knock it down. Nice touch around the rim. You know what I'm saying? Can defend, athletic. He LeBron-esque to me for sure. He deserves more respect on his name. For sure, man. Shout out that young bull, man. Paulo Banchero, bro. 22, 21 years old, only gonna get better. So last in the order of business, man. We're gonna get up out of here. Um D Wade, man, legend. D Wade is an absolute legend when it comes to um the city of Miami, and Miami Heat culture, and you know you can't think Miami Heat without thinking Dwayne Wade. You know what I'm saying? One of the first ever win a ring as a rookie. Man, turned the Miami Heat up. You know what I'm saying? And so many iconic moments. But they wrong as hell for that ugly ass statue that they did to that boy. I said, is that Dwayne Wade or is that motherfucking Antoine Walker? Is that Dwayne Wade or is that his damn daddy? That look like Dwayne Wade daddy, bro. Who is that? And the way he looked at his son in the picture, bro, in the video when they showed his reaction was hilarious. He was trying to be nice, but I feel like what he's saying, who is that? And when he was like looking at it and acknowledging it, I think he was for real. Like, who the fuck is this? Is this me? Because I don't look shit like Dwayne Wade, bro. That whole bottom jawline, big as hell. That don't look shit like him, bro. He looked like an old nigga screaming for a cigarette. Give me my motherfucking black and mild. Like he going off on somebody, and it's just hilarious, bro. And I think they need to take that statue down and redo it, because you're doing him a disservice right now. And yeah, that's what I got for y'all today. So gave you my main takeaways from the Lakers versus the Phoenix Suns game tonight. And what they need to improve on while we weren't able to get the win. Things to look out for going forward. Paulo Banchero deserves some respect. Boston is the standard. We got to make a few moves. We want to add up to them. Man, Bucks are broken and they need to play faster. Giannis got to get better. He got to work on some things, and I think they need some more bench pieces and some pieces around them guys. I don't think Dame and Giannis is enough, especially if you're talking about winning the East. They're not enough. New York better than them, by a long shot. And yeah, man, that's what I got for you though. So I'm excited, man, to be able to talk about hoops with y'all, man. I love this stuff, man, and I want to show people that I'm so much more than just a deep writer and motivational speaker and journalist, man. Like I can be somebody that like really I can be more than just a poet and just a writer and just a creative, man. Like I know the game really well. And I'm excited to keep showing you guys that with the way that I talk about the game, and not just giving opinions, but giving facts and giving real takes. Because I know the game and I study it. And so, yeah, excited to get this episode out to you, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave some insight, man. Hope you agree with some of the takes. And if you don't, man, let's talk. Let's talk. I love dialogue. I love having conversations about hoops. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, man. I love y'all, man. To the next episode, man. Peace.
Hey, what's up? This is Will Z Tidwell with Speak Up Z. And I just want to take a quick second just to thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of Speak Up Z, the podcast. And my only goal with this platform is to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you around all things life, business, and mental health, whether it's myself or me bringing on a special guest. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. We don't ask for any type of monetary gains or anything like that. The best thing you could do for us is just like and subscribe to the channel. Until next week, we'll see y'all later. Peace.